3 reasons there is nothing wrong with your relationship, but yet it doesn't quite feel right. You're crippled with doubt. Now, this really is a problem that so many clients come to work with me with, and it is a complete struggle. And they will often say, the relationship isn't abusive, it isn't tumultuous, it isn't chaotic, nobody is bad. In fact, I love many parts of this person. I certainly don't hate them. Nothing feels or is terribly wrong on paper, but something doesn't feel quite right and I can't seem to shift it. And if I'm honest, I do shift it for a while and it comes back. It's like a pesky seed of doubt, a voice that just keeps getting louder, if I'm really honest with myself. And there are reasons internally why this can be happening. And we have to tick everything off. What I say to all clients is we need to gain psychological clarity. And what that means is working through why this happens psychologically and emotionally. Once we found out why, we can then give you the map to either work on this relationship or walk away. Number 1, we have to look at if your brain chemistry is addicted to chaos. If your nervous system is familiar with chaos. Our previous relationships, our childhood especially, shapes what we deem as normal or more so familiar. And to the human brain, familiar is safe. It isn't always. Sometimes familiar is the absolute opposite end of safe. But if it's familiar, your brain gives it a tick and says, okay, this is safe, this is okay. And if you are somebody whose brain was exposed to chaos or trauma from an early age, or in early relationships, whatever that may look like, then your brain has ticked chaotic as familiar. And so when you are in a relationship that feels boring, or it feels steady, or comfortable, or safe, it's not that you don't want that. Logically, you probably do. But to your brain and to your nervous system, that is unfamiliar territory, which means it feels unsafe, which means you start to go looking for what is a little more chaotic, is a little more tumultuous. It does not mean you are a bad person or you want to be in terrible relationship. But what we do have to do with clients, if we realise that this is what is happening or part of what is happening, is we have to rewire that so that you are wired to accept safety, to accept consistency, to accept healthy and actually enjoy it. Number 2, you simply are not compatible. And you haven't done a deep dive on what compatibility on an emotional and deeper level is for you. We often look at compatibility on surface level. Do our lives align? Do our future goals align? Do we get along? Do we laugh at the same things? And of course that is important. What we often don't study, and what we do with many clients, is we look deeper than that. What does compatibility mean on a deeper level, on an emotional level, on a communication level, on an availability level, especially emotionally, a physical level, etc. Now, we're not looking to tick every single micro box because the reality is no human being on this planet is perfect. But sometimes it's very, very painful when we're in a relationship with somebody who's a great person, but we're just not compatible with that great person. And that can feel really hard because we feel as humans subconsciously that we should be compatible with every healthy human being. As soon as they're healthy, we must be compatible with them then. And the reality is you could meet a wonderful human that you're not compatible with on a deeper level, that your deeper needs are not being met by this relationship, by this human, whatever it may be. And that's why there is this seed of doubt, because on a deeper level, the boxes, the essential boxes, are not being ticked. But a lot of times we don't even know what those boxes are. So until we discover that and we gain clarity around that, it will be hard to know. Number 3, maybe you are not emotionally available. And this is in no way me blaming you for your feelings. You're totally entitled to whatever they are. The good, the bad, the ugly. But sometimes we're not as emotionally available as we think we are. Are we being as vulnerable as we can be, or are we keeping a little 10% back? Are we willing to see things from a different point of view, or are we still pretty my way's the right way? Have we fully healed from previous trauma or things we've been through, or is it still in the emotional rucksack that we're carrying around and impacting how vulnerable we're able to be, how emotionally available we are able to be? Often, and I think every human being on the planet needs to do this at some point, we have to unpack that emotional rucksack. We need to look at what we can throw away, what we need to keep, what we need to put in storage, what needs to be cleaned off, reorganized, etc. And sometimes what's in that emotional rucksack is what is not allowing us, often completely unconsciously, to not lean into this relationship. And once you deal with what's in there, your nervous system and your psychology can lean in if this person is right for you, you are compatible, and it is good for you.